mooy lan laa leen dig 94 ba léegi loo xam ne def ma ko loolu laa bëgg nga wax li ma leen bëgg a laaj mooy lan ngeen ma laaj te defaruma leen ko kon oruma leen ndax or naa leen foog naa li ma wax yëpp def naa ko def naa li ma leen dig ba def loo xam ne dig ma leen ko woon kon li ngeen ma sànni karta gis ngeen njëriñam li ma leen bëgg a wax mooy sànni karta ak fitna dafa utee bokkuñ ku ñu tooñ yéen dem leen si police or security or di army bi ngeen boole ngeen jógee fa bu maa gis ñu xeex APRC parti discipline la maa leen naa gërëm wasalaam
Welcome from GRTS and wherever you may be. This is the news at 10. First, our headlines. The Independent Electoral Commission outsources its voter sensitization exercise to the National Youth Parliament and Youth Ambassadors of Peace. Officials of a German airline with interest in the Gambia's air travel industry top business with Vice President Ajad Dr. Aissatou Njie Saidi. Prosecution witness Usman Top tells the court that no portion of the information contained in the Coalition for Change Gambia emails was concocted. And Afghan President Ahmad Karzai makes the case for a long-term independent relationship with the US and NATO, but not without strings attached. These are not the stories coming ahead this half hour. I am Aji Amisise. The United Democratic Party standard-bearer is promising good governance. Lawyer Usainu Dabo was speaking on Monday in Sarakunda in continuation of the Greater Banjul leg of the UDP campaign trail. GRTS's Modu Jalo reports the UDP campaign caravan later proceeded to Kombo South for meetings in Gunjur and Tangi.
For the November 24th presidential polls, the United Democratic Party Monday turned their attention to Kombo South to canvass for votes. The entourage of party leaders and militants drove through Tangi and Sanyang, culminating in a political rally in Gunjur. Like their previous rallies, the economy occupied center stage with speaker after speaker, deploring what they called the high cost of living they are forced to endure. Sido Ture of Gunjur assured the UDP leader that there are die-hard UDP supporters in the village who have pledged to vote for the party. Ture said that the cost of a bag of rice is beyond the reach of ordinary Gambians, adding that parents are compelled to pay high school bills to keep their children in school. Alhaji Dembo Bojang, known as Dembo by force by his supporters, said he has no grudge against the ruling party, but said he opposes the government for what he called its inability to handle the economy and ensure a decent standard of living for all Gambians. Dembo therefore called on the people of Gunjur to reclaim their lost glory and prominence by making their voices heard. He predicted that the UDP will emerge victorious come November 24th. The UDP flag bearer, lawyer Usainu Dabo, said Gunjur has lost its place as a religious center, arguing that the memory of Bunjeng and Hatab Jane has been betrayed as a result. He therefore challenged Gunjurians to reclaim their place by voting for the UDP. From Gunjur, the UDP caravan drove to Sanyang, where they briefly stopped before driving to Tanje for a short meeting. Dabo again appealed for votes, saying leadership is a national service and not a self-enriching venture. The UDP leader repeated his pledge to improve education, create employment, and entrench the rule of law. Dabo also told supporters that the election period is short, but its consequences would be far-reaching if they don't choose the right leader. From Tanje, the campaign party drove to Serakunda, where a crowd of supporters were patiently waiting to hear their presidential candidate. When Dabo emerged, he was mobbed by the crowd chanting his name. This was their biggest rally yet, and speakers wasted no time urging the supporters to ensure a landslide for the UDP. Alhaji Amadou Kora from Basse predicted that change has arrived and there is no turning back. Kora called on civil servants to reflect on their current situation and redeem themselves before it is too late. Lamin Diba, the campaign manager of the United Democratic Party, said that the party has laid strategies that he said would yield great dividends as the UDP will sweep the polls. Diba asserted that a UDP-led government will differ in style and practice by prioritizing employment, economic stability, and rule of law. He described Dabo as honest and trustworthy, saying their leadership would judiciously use state resources for national development. The campaign manager also promised that chiefs and alcalolos would not be handpicked by Dabo and will have the right to belong to the political party of their choice. Ajay Amundo Sega, president of the UDP's Women's Wing, expressed gratitude to the women and youth for what she called their high turnout. She called on the women to embark on a vigorous campaign to attract voters from the ruling party. Sega argued that women's empowerment in the Gambia is a farce, saying thousands of women wallow in poverty and misery. The women's leader promised that the UDP government will invest in horticultural gardening and provide free fertilizer and tools to women gardeners. She also promised that they would ensure all year-round production and marketing of vegetables to improve women's lives. She finally called on the women to vote early in the morning and have faith in the democratic process. Other speakers, including Mohamed Fati of GMC and Haji Dembo Bojang, urged voters to massively vote for Dabo. The rally was finally addressed by Dabo, who pledged his commitment to country and people. In a long and eloquent speech, Dabo told supporters that the time for change has finally arrived, saying enough is enough. The UDP leader told supporters to draw inspiration from other African countries who voted the opposition to power, dismissing any suggestions that a loser would not concede defeat. He thanked his supporters for the loyalty, saying their turnout has given him renewed impetus to push for change. The party leader also vowed to end what he called the daily humiliations and subjugation of the Gambian people, saying he will entrench democracy and the rule of law. He also promised to ensure that every Gambian lives in dignity and freedom, insisting that sovereignty and power belong solely to the people. He warned that anybody who tries to torpedo the electoral process will fail, as Gambians have pledged to make their voices heard.
I want you, my fellow citizens, irrespective of party affiliation, to know that I, Hussein Numukunda Dabo, stand for. I want those of you who have voted for our Jami before to listen to why you now have to change your vote and vote for UDP unity government. This moment is our appointment with destiny. It is beholden to every citizen to listen to the facts, accept the truth, and do the right thing. As your candidate for President of the Gambia, of the Republic of the Gambia, it is my humble duty to make my case to you. As a citizen of this sovereign nation, it is your duty to vote for the national interest.
The meeting lasted late into the night and offered the UDP leader the platform to promise free primary and secondary education as well as free medical services for all Gambians. The tour continues today with rallies in Esau. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS.
Meanwhile, the independent presidential candidate Hamad N.K. Ba and the leaders of the four opposition parties that constitute the coalition dubbed the United Front capped off their campaign in the metropolis with meetings in Bakau, Sukuta and Burfoot. GRTS's Mustafa Mbai is with the United Front's campaign team, and this is his report.
Continuing their political activities in the run-up to the presidential poll, the United Front Alliance campaign team is busy on program of activities within the Greater Banjul area. The delegation was received in Bakau by jubilant supporters on Monday evening, where the leader of the alliance, independent candidate Ahmad N.K. Ba, leader of the Gambia Party for Democracy and Progress, Henry Gomez, briefly addressed them. Addressing supporters in Bakau, Mr. Ba described the town as one whose communities has a long history of fighting for freedom. He promised to revive the tourism sector and protect the town's long sandy beaches from sea erosion. Storage facilities for the fish market and women's horticultural produce will also be provided, according to Mr. Ba. He also promised Bakau youth more employment opportunities. The leader of the Gambia Party for Democracy and Progress, Henry Gomez, commended the communities of Bakau for the rousing welcome accorded to the delegation. He told supporters that Hamad Ba was unanimously endorsed as leader of the United Front Alliance following his election by representatives of all the four parties from all 7 regions of the country. Mr. Gomez therefore called on the people of Bakau to vote for the independent candidate in the November